this witch hunt being pushed by a specific president. It sounds and I can see why some may say it kind of sounds like some type of intimidation tactic. Like I said from the very beginning of this video, I believe, and I think it's safe to say that many others would believe that he was one of the presidents that was very, 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 very terrifically well spoken. So, I don't think I'm gonna spend much time in this video because I, I'm having a hard time believing that it's even worth, it's even worth me watching, because I don't think anything is going to stick to where this headline is going to be credible, right? Obama facing jail, really? Come on. I mean, really, really, really? Come on, that's clickbait. So let's see. I mean,
Get elected.
I think I'm
Again,
gonna
going
give
back
this
to the
up.
most important point here, with the intent to undermine the legitimacy of President Trump's election and therefore subvert the will of the American people who chose to send him to the White House.
Reagan. Thanks, Caroline. Director Gabbard, Reagan Reese with the Daily Caller. You laid out that the documents revealed that the Obama administration did not publish a December 2016 presidential daily briefing that demonstrated that Russia did not steal the election. Trump was receiving these briefings at the time because he was president-elect. Are you of the view that that information was kept out of the briefing because then President-elect Donald Trump would have seen it?
I don't have any documents that speak to exactly what the new guidance was that was given as the reason for pulling that document, which, by the way, still has never been published until we released it last week, Friday. One could assume that they didn't want President Trump to see a document that came from the intelligence community that would contradict the Russia hoax narrative that began through the Hillary Clinton campaign with the Steele dossier.
One more.
Steele dossier.
Maybe either for you or Caroline. The president said yesterday that Obama committed treason. Do you or the White House believe that the Supreme Court's immunity decision protects Obama from prosecution?
Look, I can speak to the president's feelings on this matter. He spoke to all of you yesterday in the Oval Office, but I also spoke to him about this morning. And he wants to see all those who perpetuated this fraud against our country, who betrayed our country and the Constitution, to be thoroughly investigated and held accountable. And it's been 10 years of this. And I would just add, based on everything the director has said and declassified, all of you in this room should go through it and take a look at this report and review the intelligence, because unfortunately that hasn't happened. And many of the people who perpetuated this hoax, Clapper, Andy McCabe, James Comey, and many others, have been hired by major networks in this room to go on television and continue to spew these lies, knowing that they are lies. And if you all recall, just flashback to 2016 and the years after, the entire Trump 1 presidency was embroiled in this scandal that was perpetuated by the Democrat Party. And you had major Democrat Party officials in this city, namely Adam Schiff, Hillary Clinton, Elizabeth Warren, who went on television and told the American people Donald Trump is an asset of Russia. It was a lie. They always knew it. Hillary Clinton herself said that President Trump would be a puppet.
Let me see. You know what? Listen, I ain't picking a side. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna pull up an old video of what she was talking about. Let's see if you see now is she's saying some things that perceived to be credible. They said this and that during this year, and they hired some people who are part of networks in this room to say certain things online. So she said Adam Schiff. Who is that? Let me see. Adam Schiff, right? It's right here. Adam Schiff. Okay. So, Adam, you know what? You got a new page. Adam Schiff. Um, Russia interference, right? And you know, my thing is this, right? Why are we thinking about what happened yesterday? Why are we so stuck on that? If we're doing our things to right our wrongs as we move forward, why are we so fixed on what happened yesterday? Why? Like if you had your way, you did your thing, you won, you're in office, you're doing your thing, you're running things. Why do we care? Why am I keep getting blown up? Why do we care? Like, why are we so fixed on what happened yesterday? 9 years ago, Representative Schiff discusses investigation into Russia interference on MSNBC. The Trump document that Russia loves. Adam Schiff. More than circumstantial evidence. Another misinformation campaign is being launched by Democrats in Congress saying that Russia prefers me to any of the do-nothing Democrat candidates who still have been unable to after. Okay. There's something, you know what? It all makes sense. There is something that's going on. I think the mid elections. Let's see when the mid elections is. When is the mid election? The U.S. midterm elections happen every 4 years in the middle of a presidential term. The next one is November 3rd. The next midterm elections is November 3rd. But how important is the midterm elections? Is the midterm elections an event that's significant? I mean, if our president already has his second term, doesn't that not mean that he's gonna be out the door eventually already? They occur halfway between presidential elections. You vote for all 435 House seats, about a third of the Senate, governors plus local or state positions depending on your state. Midterms are always the first Tuesday after the first Monday in November. The first Tuesday after the first Monday in November. If you want to break down how midterms actually impact power and why they matter for money markets and policies. Why would it matter if our current president is already on his second term? Shouldn't it not matter? Or does that matter because maybe there might be another Republican campaign in office? Or I don't know. I mean, I'm trying to understand why this thing is now surfacing on the internet about his past run for presidency, but maybe it makes sense because midterm elections is coming up in a couple of months from now, and they're just probably reflecting on what happened during his first run for presidency. Breaking down Trump's latest ridiculous comment about Russia. Okay, so I'm curious. Let's see. I don't even know who this guy is, but let's see who he is. Let me share my screen with you guys. Adam Schiff, here we go.
You're never going to believe what Donald Trump said today, or maybe you will. Take a look.
We had to go through the Russian hoax together. That was not a good thing. It's not fair. That was a rigged deal and had nothing to do with Russia. It was a rigged deal with inside the country, and they had to put up with that too. They put up with a lot. It wasn't just us.
Let's start with Russia's been through a lot. Poor Russia's been through a lot. He and Russia went through this Russia hoax together. Poor Russia. What is Donald Trump talking about that he went through with Russia? It's this. He's running for president in 2016. Russia hacks the Democratic Party, steals a bunch of Democratic Party emails, starts leaking them to help the Trump campaign. Russia sets up a troll farm in St. Petersburg.
get it, right? What I want to do is know what were the files or data that Russia leaked from the Democratic side and gave it to the Republicans to help the Trump campaign. Again, where is the tangible evidence of the allegations that's being spewed? Where is the tangible evidence, the physical evidence of the allegations that is being spewed by our political officials? Let's keep on rolling, y'all. Cause it's a lot of he say, she say, like we're back in elementary school. He said this, but she said that, but he said this, and then she said that, so that's why I said that. Bro, this feels like we being patronized. Let's see.
To push out social media stuff to divide Americans and help elect Donald Trump, and it results in Russia and Trump being investigated. That's what he means when he says, oh, poor Russia's been through a lot. Russia helped get me elected in 2016, and they got investigated for it. Poor Russia. But he doesn't stop there. He's asked, how can we count on Putin to honor any deal over Ukraine? And he vouches for the Kremlin dictator.
I've known him for a long time now, and I think he will. I don't believe he's going to violate his word.
Let's not forget, the Kremlin dictator is a guy who puts poison, radioactive poison, in people's tea outside of Russia to kill them because they stand up to him. This is a guy who, if you're high-ranking in Russia and you say something he doesn't like, you magically fall out a window. You'll remember there was an epidemic of window falling out of, defenestration, I think is the fancy term for it. Or if you're a journalist, you end up murdered in your apartment. This is Vladimir Putin. This is the man who Donald Trump believes is a man of his word, a man who brutally invaded his neighbor, who has killed tens of thousands and thousands of people, children, women, you name it, to remake the map of Europe. And this is the guy Trump believes we should trust. He doesn't trust Zelensky, our ally. He doesn't trust our British allies, our NATO allies. No, he trusts a dictator like Vladimir Putin. Now, I used to represent Hollywood. I sometimes think in movie terms. And I don't know why listening to Trump today reminded me of this classic scene from Road Warrior.
I'm gravely disappointed. Again, you have made me unleash my dogs of war.
All right, this is it. I'll talk to this humongous. He's a reasonable man. Open to negotiation.
So that's Trump and what he had to say about his buddy, Vladimir Putin. You're never going to believe what Donald Trump said today.
I still don't even know who this guy is, but okay. Trump furious after
Is California Congressman Adam Schiff, who is the top Democrat on the House Intelligence Committee. First of all,
Wait, what? Congressman what?
Is California Congressman Adam Schiff, who is the top Democrat
California congressman
on the House Intelligence Committee. Is California Congressman Adam Schiff, who is the top Democrat on the House Intelligence Committee. First of all,
he's the top Democrat on House Intelligence Committee.
Is California Congressman Adam Schiff, who is the top Democrat on the House Intelligence Committee. First of all, your reaction to the fact that the Senate and House chairs of intelligence have been briefing reporters at the White House request.
Well, I'm very concerned about it. On the positive side, we both agreed on a broad scope of investigation, but the fact that the intelligence agencies were, or officials in the intelligence agencies were trying to push back on the New York Times story, acting as a PR arm of the White House, is totally inappropriate. I also don't think that the chairs of either intelligence committee ought to be announcing the results of an investigation at the beginning of an investigation. The reality is, we don't know whether there were contacts with Trump campaign officials. That's one of the core issues that we're going to investigate. And having conversations with intelligence community leaders is not evidence. And the fact is, we haven't even begun to sit down with the FBI to talk about what have they looked at,